Come on, roll with me. Spyro here, dog. Come on. Come on, dog. Come on, roll with me. Spyro here, dog. Come on. Come on, dog. Come on. Spyro done came to the neighborhood, cuz. Look, there he is right there. Spit that fire one time. Come down here and holler at me one time, nephew. Come on in there, boy. Woo-hoo. I got something for you too, nephew. Come on down. Check this out. I know you gonna dig this. Oh, yeah. So fresh, so fly. Spyro Reignited Trillogy. I'm finna go play this game, man. Please believe it.
Hell yeah, Uncle Snoop. I even dug out the gold chain you gave me 3 lifetimes ago for this review. What do y'all think? Looking fly enough? Looking, ooh, so fresh? Of course I am. I am the greatest dragon in gaming, and I can make any item look good, be it for males or females. And Uncle Snoop is now the greatest dog in music, because, well, he gave me shiny treasure, and I like the shiny treasure. And you know what? It was fun flying across the country to him, stopping off at places like the Barbecue Pip Boy's House of Barbecue for some tasty grill.
Sausage. I got my barbecue shoes on. Going down to the house of sausage. I got my barbecue shoes on. Gonna burn me a brat in a red hot foot long. Gonna smoke me a fatty brisket. I got my barbecue shoes on. Gonna smoke me a fatty brisket. I got my barbecue shoes on.
And while entertaining, it was a distraction from the main event. After all, myself and my fans have had to fight Activision tooth and claw to make sure this shit was good. Every step of the way, Activision or Toys for Bob, well, they tried to fuck something up. There was just this thing of like, oh, we fucked this up. No! Bad! It's bad, Bobby Kotick. So we just had to sit there, looming over them, me in my Alicorn Queen suit, eyes glowing red with anger, ready to blast them up the ass with some unicorn magic. Stop fucking it up, Bobby Kotick. What's that? Fucking Splatoon guns? Fucking stop it! Stop it! And then there was that incident of unicorn magic up their arse. But here we are, 0 hour, it's out now. So, after all the fighting, to make it perfect, did Activision Blizzard and Toys for Bob pull it off? Or will they truly bear my fury and bitterness for a heart that's long made cold?
It's time to recompense for the damage and the lies. Bear my fury, strike your curse, release me from torment.
No. The answer is no. They mostly will not be bearing my fury and bitterness for a heart that's long made cold. Like, they did most things good, and that's fine, but there are things I dislike, a few minor changes that are just like, why? Why? You know what one of them is. You already know what one of them is. And it's like, But, despite that, despite it having some of those flaws, well, I mean, as you can tell from that anger there, despite it being my own games, this is an unbiased review, and I can happily admit its flaws. So, first of all, let's begin with the really good stuff. They are flawless. Like Crash, if there is one department that cannot be faulted, it's the art and graphic department. Every area in the trilogy, in all 3 games, is absolutely stunning. Everything is just so bright and colourful and just really welcoming. Like landing in the home world, we see this nice colourful home world, but then we just take a quick right into Stone Hill and we are greeted to these lush green fields and castle ruins with big openings saying, get in here, see what this place has to offer. Like, most of my first impressions and my subsequent streams were literally me just standing there taking in what a truly good job they did, and this is like a basic level. Moving on to all of the more shaded or darker levels, like the Winter Tundra in Spyro 2, or Dark Hollow in Spyro 1, or the Treetops, or Metalhead, like, it was literally every time I would just stop the stream, I would just stand there at the landing spot, turn around, and just be like, oh, it looks so good! It looks so fucking good! I love it! And then also from people like Freya, who is my cousin here, she's a Beastmaker, and yeah, she was also... But Aurora Borealis, at this time of day, at this time of year, localized within the vicinity of Freya's home? Yes. May I see it? No. Well. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Let's go down. Look at the shading. Oh, this is looking good. Oh, my word. Oh my word. Oh fuck. God, so much of this shit could just be like a desktop background. It's so good. It's so nice looking. There's even like little electricity coming out the pylon up there. In text, she's not here in the review, she doesn't speak in this part, but she was even telling me in text that, yeah, considering her favourite area was the Beastmakers and she's a Beastmaker dragon, and she gets to see the treetops looking like this and Metalhead's area looking like this with the moon in the background. It's so good. Yeah, it can't be faulted. So well done, art department, well done. This, honestly, you did probably the best job of the year. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 and, you know, all the newer games, all the fancy games like Pokemon Let's Go, they look nice. They're still very colourful. They still have really nice graphics, but Toys for Bob, this one area, this is the best looking game of the year for me. Like, that is not even like any kind, I mean, it may be a little biased, but it's not even really any kind of bias. It's like, I played Let's Go, and across the Let's Go, I'm like, oh man, that looks really good, that looks so bright. I played other games that have had bright stuff, and it's like, dude, nice. Like, Bomb Chicken looks beautiful in the really vibrant, glowing colours in its pixelated art style. So I've had games where I'm like, looks so good. Even Celeste's actual visual part, I mean, I think the gameplay's bad, but Celeste's visual part, out of this world. Some of those watercolours in the backgrounds, like the Golden Ridge, perfect. But out of all the graphics, this one, I think, gets the graphics of the year. Like, there's been so many games that have looked stunning, but with just that nice shading in the darker areas, like the nighttime areas of Dark Hollow, or the more dimly lit areas like Metalhead. Ooh! Oh, you did it! Moving on. The other good point that, again, I don't think anybody can argue with is the music. They did something, I mean, they did this for a lot of stuff in terms of the audio department. In terms of the voice, they got the original voice actor Tom Kenny back. I mean, it's Spyro, it wasn't the original number one, and number one, yeah, I know, but to make it consistent, they got him for all three. I know it was just 2 and 3, but, and the other, and number one was the other one. Shh, I know. But to make it consistent, they got the original voice back for all three. As the same for the music, they got the original composer, Stuart Copeland, back to remix all of his old tracks. And even in an interview, he said he loved the fact that they asked him, and he enjoyed it so much. It was just a fun time for Stuart Copeland, because in the 90s when it came out, they were obviously limited by technology. We have seen technology advance just whoosh, light years ahead of anything we could have imagined back then. Like back then, when we had 2D, NES, Sega Genesis, we were like, Super Mario World, that's amazing. Doesn't get any better than that. Then you see Super Mario 64. What is this witchcraft? I see him as I see myself. A 3D person. What is this witchcraft, Nintendo? Then the PlayStation. It's magic. It's an amazing time. And for some of you younger people, if there's any younger people in the audience watching, to hear me say that, you'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the hell are you going on about? We've always had 3D. I mean, we haven't, but to those people, they've always had 3D. And you'll never get to experience that. But when we saw 2D and we had that transition in the 90s from 2D to 3D, it was like putting a man on the moon in gaming. It was like groundbreaking, and it was like considered witchcraft. You would never think, it was like, this is not possible. What is this madness? What is this black magic? And nowadays, you wouldn't even think about that. And it's the same for the music industry. Like nowadays, just think about the Gorillaz. Back then, you had a little cassette player that you'd record some drums into, and it'd fart out some crappy audio. Now we have laser rendered Blu-ray discs that you can put high quality music onto. And if the composer, like if the artist is either not real, like the Gorillaz, or they're dead, like Ronnie James Dio, don't worry, we can just like laser their image on stage. It's like he's really there almost. I mean, the technology's not quite there for real humans, but I mean, all you gotta do is look at Hatsune Miku or Pearl and Marina from Splatoon. Oh my god, it's like she's really there on stage. How did they achieve this? So for the music, for Stuart Copeland, he said he absolutely loved it because he got to have all of his old tracks, like all of his really crappy bass and that really crappy recording, all with this big brand new studio to play with. Here's a laser keyboard, here's a virtual reality drum set, it's all yours, Stuart Copeland. And he's like, this is a dream come true, to remake my old music on this brand new technology. And he did a fantastic job with it. He did such an amazing job with it, and he's clear he did, because he was having fun. If you're having fun with a project, you're obviously going to make something of a better quality. Like, I don't know, if you took Diablo Mobile, where everybody is just annoyed at Activision Blizzard and stressed out and morale is low at the company, well, the product is going to be inferior because everybody's morale's low and you don't want to work on it. Whereas if everybody in the company is having fun, well, the fun is pushing you to do better. So Stuart Copeland was having so much fun remixing all his old tracks on this brand new technology, and all the new tracks, or all the remix tracks, just come out absolutely fantastic. And they even took it a step further, like Toys for Bob and Stuart himself even took it a step further by including an option to have either the new tracks playing so you can get a taste for the new music, or have the old original tracks playing, so that you, if you are a newcomer, if you're one of these of the younger generation, you can be like, well, it's a remake, I wonder what it sounded like back in the day. Well, you don't have to get YouTube up, just press an option in the menu and it's like you were back in the 90s. So that was a nice little addition that Crash didn't have. Like, I would have liked to have let Crash have the original music as well, but oh well, he didn't, and mine does, which makes mine scientifically better. So yeah, the music, once again, cannot be faulted. Then we'll move into the gameplay, where it starts to get a little shaky. So the gameplay, for the most part, is perfect. It's so much tighter than Crash. Like, the second I started it up, I was in my element. I could just be like, Ashley, you know what? Oh, that's like, that is so much better than Crash. Oh, that just controls fucking nice. Oh, that feels so easy. Like, it just turns. It just turns when you want. Let's try a tight corridor. Get out of here, dude. Oh, even the tight corridors, no problem. Let's have a look at these water effects. Boom. You hear that? Can't snap my claws fast enough, but you hear that? Boom. Got it straight away. It's like we're charging, the charge is nice and tight, the jumping's working, the gliding's working, the controls just felt almost one-to-one of the original port. There is a little bit more weight to certain aspects of the game, and this is where it gets slightly shaky to me, but in terms of like your regular jump and glide, one-to-one from the original. The charging, it's one-to-one in terms of charging, but in terms of turning, it's been tightened. Like, you can turn just on a dime, as you can see me charging through the tight tunnel to the balloonist and back again. It's just so responsive. Like, all of the basic controls, like the fire, the jump, it's all so responsive. The controls are nearly perfect. However, there are some aspects that have been changed which I do feel are a little bit detrimental. In the speedways, for example, your controls are inverted on the up and down axis, so they work like regular flight controls, where pushing up sends you downwards and pushing down sends you upwards. And for me, when I am playing flying games, I do not like that. When I press up, I expect to go up, and when I press down, I expect to go down. And there's no option to change it. You are stuck to having flight controls. You can get used to it, but for those that prefer the uninverted flight controls, the option would have been nice. And I seem to remember the original having normal flight controls where up is up and down is down, not inverted flight controls. So it does take some getting used to, and I really wish they did have the option for at least the original flight controls. The other thing about flying is It's nice, it works, the turning is very tight, it has the nice speed to allow you to do big turns, but the fire in the speedways is shorter, and I felt half the time like when I was getting a object that required flaming, like the glowing treasure chest, I would breathe fire, and in some instances, like look how close I am, let's freeze frame this, I'm that close, but I still missed. And I'm like, damn, you gotta be right up against these chests in order to break them, because your fire has been shortened only by a little bit, but it's sometimes in the speedways, like in the main levels, you're gonna be getting up in enemies' faces anyway, but in the flight levels where you've gotta go fast and you wanna be turning as quickly as possible, that little tiny bit of distance taken off the fire, sometimes it can be really like, I can feel it, I know it's there, I just wish the fire just had that little bit of extra range like the original, because in the speedways, it's those chests, I feel like I should have hit that, I feel like I should have got that activision, but again, in the main levels, it doesn't matter, because most of the time you're either going to be charging into the small enemies, or like a big enemy, you're going to be getting up in its face anyway, so you're not going to miss. So it doesn't matter in the main levels, but in the speedways, just that little bit of extra range on the fire does make a difference sometimes. And the flight controls are inverted, and I really wish they weren't. So that's two little shakes of the controls, which are a bit And then the other shake on the controls is supercharged gliding. So when you go down a supercharged ramp, you are completely fine. You just go down it, you charge through everything, you can turn as well as you can turn in a supercharge. Great, controls are fine. The supercharged glide, however, that's where you charge down a particular ramp and then you hit basically the end of the ramp and you go flying. In the original, you had a little bit less or more weight. It's really hard to explain, because when I exit that ramp, I don't know. When I exit the ramp in the remake, I feel like I've got less weight, yet somehow you drop faster, so you've got more weight. Like, it just doesn't feel right. So I have simple jumps in the original. They took some practice, but I could do, like, the real easy ones. We're not talking about the crazy combined 6 supercharges in the treetops. We're just talking about Wizard's Peak, the easy one, where you go down 2 ramps and then you jump off onto this island. But as you can see, I charge down, I charge up the hill, I get fired out, and I glide, but I don't make it. Yet in the original, if I glided there, I would have made it, because I guess I must have less weight in the original. But yet in this version, at least when you release, when you hit that point where you are flying through the air, you feel weightless. Yet the second you hit that glide, it's just like that weightlessness, boom, goes away. You're now a stone and you're dropping. Even though you supercharged correctly, you feel as if you jumped correctly, and as the other dragons have been telling you to do, you have glided, you've hit the glide activation at the very apex of your jump, yet you're still not making it. And I found myself having to basically leap of faith some of the supercharged glides, like the one in Wizard's Peak. I was like, don't glide, don't glide, just jump down the supercharge, or charge down the supercharge ramp, jump, and just don't activate the glide until you're literally knowing that you're not going to make it. And as you can see, this is the run where I did that. I go down the ramp, I jump. This time I'm not gliding at the top of my jump, I am dropping, I am descending, so I am past the point, I am past that highest point of my jump, as the dragons have been telling me, and this time I make it. So it was like, that's a little bit weird, that's going to take some getting used to. And it did. Again, like in the Haunted Towers, where it's just two ramps rather than the treetops that's got you going all over the place. I go down the first ramp and the second ramp, I jump, and again, in instinct from playing the first one, this thing ingrained into my head's like, you're at the very top of your jump, you gotta glide now, you're at the very top of your jump, you gotta glide now. I do, and there I go falling. Yet when I ignore my instincts and I'm going down the ramp, over, down this next ramp, up, I don't glide, I'm trying to hold on for as long as possible, and then I make it. So it's just the supercharged glide does feel a little bit off if you played the original. If you haven't played the original and you don't have a sense of what the original weight of myself felt like, then it won't impact you. Like, this bit is literally just for the retro fans, and because you'll be new to the series, any newcomers, if you're new to the series, then this is your default weight and this is the weight that you've always known for the character, so it won't impact you. But for all the oldies, all the retros, on the supercharged glides, there's a little bit of something weird with the weight, and I can't describe it. I just don't know how to put it into words. You'd have to literally play it for yourself, and you would understand what I meant by the weight just doesn't feel right when you try and glide from a supercharge. It's just a little bit off. So there is a few hiccups with the controls, but again, it's only in certain areas like speedways or supercharged gliding. Your basic default controls, like basic jumps, basic glides, basic charges, basic fire, and basic supercharge, they're all fine. They're all great. They are all one-to-one. They are just like Crash Bandicoot. So responsive. I would say even more responsive than Crash Bandicoot. But it's just the few extras, like in the speedways, your fire's a little bit shorter, you glide on the supercharged a little bit, so it's a little bit hiccupy, but for the most part it's fine. This has to be my absolute favourite part of the trilogy, the redesigns. Now, I know some people have seen certain characters like Sheila, and it's like, I don't know if I like that redhead. Oh, that waist's looking a little skinny. I mean, you got those big kangaroo legs, regular sized body, then that waist. Or you could just snap that like a twig. However, for the most part, the redesigns are great, and they add so much more to each game, especially the first one. Because in the first one, every dragon was a reskin. It was just, this guy is a recolor of this guy, is a recolor of this guy. They're pretty much all the same. You had a few different looking ones, like Titan, who was a lot more tiger looking or cheetah looking with the spots. And of course, our gay dragon darling with paint me like one of your French girls and being a bit on the chubby side. But for the most part, boom, 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 they're just recolors. They're nothing special. But here, that guy, he looks totally different from that guy, who looks totally different from that guy, who looks totally different from that guy, that looks totally different from that one over there. Every single dragon has a unique design and unique personality now. So if they're the big, strong, muscly one, then they're gonna have a more masculine, muscly voice. If they're one of these people that's just like a regular ass dude, then they're gonna have a regular voice. And it's just like, you did it. They look great. They all look great. They all sound great. And from this, everybody's just become so much more attached to them. There are some more than others, but you know, let's pick one out of the air at random here. I don't know, Bubba. Let's use that one. Everybody's in love with the big buff daddy dragon, and I mean, you can just see this thumbnail. Somebody wants to marry him. I mean, I don't blame them. He's a very attractive person. He's a very attractive male for you, lady. But yeah, everybody's like, fan art of Bubba. Here. So much fan art of Bubba. Let's pick another one. Oh, how about the big fat dragon, Magnus? oh, there's some fan art, there's some more, because he's different, he's unique, he's got a big fat belly and he looks adorable. Let's pick another one. Oh, how about the very first dragon that you ever meet? Oh, look at him. He's like a proper sculptor now. He's got a fancy coat, he's got the hammer and chisel. Oh, he looks so hot, and I just want to be held in his arms with fan art, fan art, fan art, fan art, fan art. Everybody loves them. They did such a fantastic job in adding so much more to the world, so much more to the characters. Like, side characters like dragons, so much more. Main characters, you know, you could say Sheila's a little bit weird looking, but they still added that little bit of extra personality to say, hey, it's not just a regular kangaroo. She's a special kangaroo. She looks different. She's special. We give her a couple of extra things to try and make her more unique, more her own. Even the enemies, for the most part, they are all so well animated. They all just do weird little animations, weird little things, like the rocker dude. Originally, in the Beastmakers, this one that whacks the floor, he just kind of tapped the ground, listening to his music a bit, feels alright, but now they kind of rock out with using the electric stick as a guitar, making the rock on symbol with the fingers, just all that extra little detail, and it persists across all of the three. Everybody's just got that little bit extra, and to me, pretty much every redesign looks great. Like, obviously, myself in HD looks fantastic because I am perfection incarnate, and out of all the dragons you've drawn fan art of, you've drawn the most of me because you all clearly want me, and who am I to deny you? As can you imagine a dimension where you can't fuck or be fucked by Spyro the dragon? There'd be anarchy. That's a nightmare that I don't want to live in. So, yeah, everything looks good, except for maybe two, which is Ripto and the Sorceress. Because if we go to the main bosses, you know, all the other main bosses, Toasty, thumbs up, he looks great. Dr. Shemp, yeah, again, he's making little symbols with his hands like the rock on, he's giving you the eye where he touches his eyes and looks at you. All fun animations. Nasty Nork, he actually looks like a real orc. That looks like a real orc, and again, just from the opening cutscene, he can express happiness, anger. He's a bit sad when you call him ugly. They've done such a good job. Ripto and the Sorceress, I don't like too much. Ripto, 90% of him is fine. Like, comparing him to his original, 90% of him is fine. Some of it even better. I like how his coat is more of a robe that flows behind him. That looks a lot better. You've made his shoes a lot more like Waluigi Genie shoes with the curves at the end, and it fits the design you've gone for. It looks good. The eyebrows, obviously they were triangles in the original, now they look like real eyebrows. It looks good. Them eyes. Oh, them eyes. No. I mean, we're seeing the concept art side by side. The green eyes looked fine. They looked fine for how this character was. These, like, no. And when you see it in game, when you actually see it fully animated in game, we'll just bring the picture up for now. When you see it fully animated in game, yeah, look at them eyes. They just don't look right. You should have gone with the green ones. They just look wrong. It just makes him look wrong. Like, it just, no. It doesn't look right to me. So, Ripto, for the most part, I like him. I like all the additions. I like most of the redesign, but why them eyes? Like, you got it 90% spot on, but them eyes just don't look right on that character. Like, you should have just left them green. And then the other one is the Sorceress, which suffers from over-design, in my opinion. Like, in the original, she had a very simple but elegant design, where it was a big fat blue lizard, and that's about as much as you need. She's got her jewel around her neck, her crown, and her big puffy neck collar thing, and that's it. That's all you needed. Whereas here, they decided to go for extras, all these little extras that kind of give it too much over design. Like, she has a lot of rings on her fingers and toes. Why have you got rings on your toes? Again, this is where this over design comes in. She's got this little waistcoat thing on. Why? Again, that seems to be overly designed. You really didn't need that. And then they've given her all these extra features, like in the original. Look at her tail. Nothing on her tail. It doesn't need to be. It's simple and elegant. Here, we've got all these extra spikes and frills on the tail. It just felt like a bit of a Square Enix move, where it's like, we've got a character, we've remade it, and now let's add all this shit on. It's like, but why? She looked fine remade. She looked fine as she was. Nah, but we need to add all these rings on. We need to add this coat on. We need to add all this shit to the tail. We just need to add all this extra shit. Like how we just add all these extra spikes and belts and zippers to a Final Fantasy character. It's like, you didn't really need to do that. You didn't need to do that at all. I mean, for the most part though, it's like Ripto. She looks somewhat fine. The colours, the movements, it all looks good. But the extra shit is bad, and the one thing that does annoy me is the way her face is constructed. Because it feels like, I mean most of the body, it feels like they just took the shrink tool and shrunk the top half. So, like, you've got the fat bottom half, like, waist down, she's a chubby girl. She's one of those extra thick girls. And that was kind of the idea of her in the original, to have, like, what she sees as beauty, you know, kind of like Sleeping Beauty, where it's like, I see myself as the most beautiful person in all the land. And then the mirror's like, bitch, you ain't, it's Snow White. It was kind of like that. So, with the original, her beauty came from her consistency. Like, she was a chubby girl all the way through. So, from her head to her legs, she's got that big, round, fattish head. She's got the broader, fattish shoulders and fattish upper body, and then the chubby belly and lower legs. So she was chubby all the way through. It had that consistency, and in, you know, the Snow White analogy, that consistency was what made her beautiful. And it's like, I can see that point. Yes, you look beautiful as a chubby lizard girl, and that chubbiness consists all the way through. But here, if you look at just the boss fight, like the Sorceress's boss fight, everything's down in the legs. Like, you've got the chubby legs, the chubby waist, and then we just put the mountain shrink tool in, where your upper body is less chubby and your arms are a lot skinnier. Then we put the shrink tool on again, and your head ends in that fucking cone head point. Like, why is your head end in that little skinny point? Like, it just doesn't look right. And if we compare old Sorceress to new Sorceress, and we take a piece of fan art of what people expected the Reignited version to look like, you can kind of see why people are a little bit upset with the Sorceress. Like, for the most part, her colours, the way the voice actor that they got and the way the voice actor portrays the character, it's all good. Her movements are good, but it's just the upper part of the body that looks a little bit weird. Like, especially the head. The head should have just been like the original, or this piece of art here. It should have just been the flatter, more rounded head, opposed to ending in this point. So, for the most part, she's fine. She looks great, but you should have just left the chubbiness on the upper part as well as the lower part. So, for the most part, all the characters look absolutely fantastic. And the two villains, or the two mage villains, because again, all the minor villains like Gulp and Crush, they look great as well. But the two major villains, Ripto, mostly fantastic, but ooh, them eyes. And the Sorceress, little bit Final Fantasy over-designed. You really didn't need that waistcoat and all that extra shit on the tail. And maybe you should have made the top half a little bit chubbier to keep that consistency. But for the most part, the redesign is great. It's fine. and all the characters are fine.
What I couldn't see then, you tried to fit me in that role, but now I'm taking back control. So bear my fury, and bitterness, the heart that's long made cold. It's time to recompense for the damage and the lies. Bear my fury, take back your curse, release me from torment.
Fuck! You couldn't do it! You couldn't fucking... God damn it, Bobby Kotick! Damn it, Activision! Yes, I can see it. So, all the character redesigns are fine for the most part. And then we get into the items they use. Everybody has a normal item, including the dinosaurs in Dino Mines. Look at the dinosaur. He's got a gun. It's a realistic gun. It shoots a realistic bullet. So why the fuck is there a Splatoon heavy splatling in the last level? Damn it. And you know what I have a theory. I have a game theory about Twilight Harbour. Because everybody was upset with Twilight Harbour. Everybody had a big problem with the fact that they had Splatoon guns, and everybody said, that's it. The entire trilogy is completely fucked. You fucked it. Stop fucking it. Stop being a dick. There's no need to censor it. Stop being an SJW. The kids don't care about the guns. Stop trying to bring like school shootings and all these politics in for reasons why you gotta censor the guns. Stop it! Stop it. And what's interesting about this is no other level, Dry Canyon, anything before Twilight Harbour, realistic guns, realistic bullets, realistic swords, no issue. Anything afterwards and in the further games, like Dino Mines, you got a realistic gun, you got a realistic bullet, no problem. It's just that one particular level that stayed the same. And what's really interesting is, when I was streaming it, I caught this on footage. When I was in Twilight Harbour, just Twilight Harbour, seems to be incredibly buggy. Like, as if Twilight Harbour was just not tested or not finished. Like, here's me going down the supercharge ramp, listen for yourself. We're not playing Spyro anymore. What is this? What is this? What? Okay. Just throwing this up real quick, and this image, not to spoil it, because tell a lie, during the stream of Spyro 2, we did come across one other bug, although not like a mechanical broken piece of shit like in Twilight Harbour, just a funny visual bug of this guy that you're about to see. And there's two Twitch clips. I asked the chat to clip it, and they got it just right. And one is the thing just doing the thing, and then when we interacted with it, it moves, and it was quite funny. So yeah, we caught this little bastard. Look at him, Victory T-posing by Mephi. Just look at that little dude. Well, I'll let you enjoy both these clips. What's he going? What? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! What's he going? In this version, aren't they? Asshole. Where's the other one? You son of a bitch. Get here, you. What? 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 Please clip that. Please clip that. Please. Please clip that. You T-posing little motherfucker. I mean, that one was just kind of funny, but it's not really because someone also caught this double Ripto glitch.
I read on the internet that our games have had a few bugs. I did. I read it on the internet, so it's true.
Activision. Please. I'm trying. Please. Stop. I'm trying, Activision. Now, isn't that interesting that the level that everybody caused shit over is the level that is buggy and feels very rough and not tested, or sometimes feels a bit unfinished? I actually think that Twilight Harbor was the first level made with a gun-based enemy, and they were testing out the shooting mechanics, you know, like projectile speeds of bullets, the way bullets travel. I think Twilight Harbor was where they were testing out the guns. Everybody saw the Splatoon gun and played absolute shit, and they got so pissy, and they were just like, "Oh fuck it, I'm not gonna finish it. I've got no motivation for Twilight Harbor. Don't care." And then they went on and made all the rest, like Dino Mines and Dry Canyon and everybody else that's got guns. They went and made all them, and they're fine. Again, there's no bugs that I can find in there. They all work. All the guns are fine. So why is it that one level? So I actually think everybody saw that Splatoon gun, got incredibly pissy, and were like, "Stop being a dick, stop being an SJW, stop trying to censor the guns, we don't care." And they got so like butthurt that they just threw Twilight Harbor off to the side and were like, fuck it, fine, don't care, don't like that level anymore, don't want to work on it, not in the mood to work on it. And they just left it. They just left it all the way to the end of the trilogy. And then when it was time to upload it, they're like, "Yeah, no, just upload it. I don't care. Everybody's butthurt about it anyway. Fuck that level. Just upload it." And that's why we still have, because you could have just retextured them. The bullet, the projectile speed of the bullets, the way that the bullets fire, it's all there. You could have just retextured the gun and the paint. You could have just retextured them. It's not that hard, but they were just either too lazy or too butthurt to do it. And again, with the glitches like the supercharged thing, which is the only area I got stuck, they were just like, "Nah, fuck it. Everybody hated that level anyway, just fucking upload it. Who cares?" And this now brings us into the last point before the final verdict, which I'm just going to continue on with, it doesn't need its own section, which is the fact that all 3 games are not on the disc. On September 21st, it was supposed to come out, and they asked for a delay, and the reason they asked for a delay was because there was a big uproar about all 3 games not being on the disc. In a single-player experience like Mario Odyssey or Crash the Insane Trilogy, all of the content is on the disc. With a live service, it is understandable. You are changing elements constantly on the fly, and sooner or later you have to be prepared to accept the consequences of playing a live service game. If I take both Fortnite, Paladins and Overwatch for example, these are 3 live service games that I invested myself into and I enjoyed, and I have skins that I love in particular. Like for Overwatch, I love the Devil Mercy skin despite it being one of the originals. I adore it, and I have got pictures of myself dressed as Devil Mercy. It is a fantastically well designed skin, but it's a live service. One day I'm going to have to come to terms with that Blizzard is going to shut the servers down, and I will no longer be able to parade around in a female devil outfit. I won't be able to do that. If we go over to Paladins, 2 of my favourite skins, again, that were designed incredibly well and the art department did a fantastic job of, are Rave Maeve and the Abyssal Lord Drogos, or Drogos' Master, whatever it's called. These are 2 very amazing, very well designed skins, the ones that I purchased, and well, purchased because obviously Paladins is a free-to-play game and you have to purchase them, whereas Devil Mercy I got out of a box, but still, I had to purchase these, and I am very pleased with that purchase. I am happy with that purchase, but one day Paladins will die, Hi-Rez will shut the servers down, and I'll have to come to terms with that is £20 that I won't get back. That's £20 down the shitter. And once again, the same for Fortnite. The one skin that I absolutely adore, because it's as close as I can possibly get to having a dragon, is the Moisty Merman with the Frost wings on my back. And again, that is my skin. I never buy any other skins. Sometimes I buy a pickaxe, because I do like the pickaxes. Like, I'll buy a pickaxe here and there, but in terms of other skins, there's a lot of good skins, very well designed skins that have come and gone in the shop, like the Red Knight, or that Scarecrow that they had for Halloween, and you know, there's been a lot of decent skins, never bought them, don't need them. Moisty with the dragon wings, that looks as close as I can physically possibly get to a dragon, I don't need to buy them. But Moisty was a legendary skin. It cost me £20, 2,000 V-Bucks, and like the other 2, it is a live service game, and one day the service is no longer going to be live, and I am going to have to face the fact that Moisty is going to be erased forever, and that is money that I have lost and money I will never get back. So with a live service game, you have to accept the fact that you're spending money which is never going to be seen again when the servers get shut down. But with things like Mario Odyssey, the Reignited Trilogy, God of War on the PlayStation 4, even fucking Super Lucky Tail on the Xbox, because I can't think of any Xbox games, when you get a single player cartridge or a single player disc, you expect to have the entire content to replay at your leisure. I can put Crash in at any time and I can play all 3 games. I can put Mario Odyssey in at any time and I can play the entire game, no questions asked, because we put it all onto the cartridge. We put it all onto the disc. Spyro apparently can't fucking do that. Activision can't fucking give you that good grace, and only the number 1 is on the disc, and 2 and 3 need to be fucking downloaded, making it a live service. You stupid cunts. Why did you do this? And this was where the delay come from. So, on the 21st of September, the day it was supposed to release, like my actual anniversary, my 20th birthday, my 20th anniversary, whatever you want to call it, that was the day it was supposed to go up, right? But it was like, oh no, it's not all on the disc. There's a big backlash. Let's delay it till November. And everybody was like, alright then, fine. We'll let you delay it. Because we want it to be on the disc. We want it to be good. Then it comes to fucking November, and here we are, a loading screen. Oh, and by the way, yes, I streamed it all. I streamed it all to show you Activision. This is what I saw for the first 4 hours. I streamed the entire 4 hours of this loading screen. Because as a single player game that is on a fucking disc, that's not acceptable. That is actually bullshit that you shouldn't be doing. And because now, dear viewer, if Activision or Toys for Bob or whoever the fuck is running this show ever decides to pull a Blizzard and shut down their Overwatch servers, you have got a game that is incomplete. You can play all of number 1 and you'll be like, I want to play number 2 now. Well, bitch, you ain't playing number 2 because you got to download it and Activision didn't keep their servers running. So basically, you bought a disc with one game and the rest of it's blank. There's no other games. And if you say, oh, well, it's too big to fit on one disc, then do what Red Dead Redemption 2 did and put it on 2 discs. But oh wait, Activision, you're too fucking greedy to spend the money on a second disc, aren't you? You stupid wanker, Bobby Kotick. So yeah, there's only one game on the disc and you have to download the others. So you better be sure as shit that if you download it, you don't fucking delete it off your system, because if you ever delete it off your system and Activision switches the servers off, well, that's 1/3 of the disc that you can use. You can't use the other 2/3 because, you know, fuck you. Just fuck you. You paid $60 for 3 games. No, fuck you. You get the one and you have to download the other 2 if our servers are still running. And they fucking wonder why people pirate shit. Like, oh, why are you pirating this? Pirating is bad, why are you pirating this? Well, maybe, Bobby Kotick, maybe if you actually just put all 3 games on the disc and didn't have to download via your servers, people wouldn't do it. Because when the servers go off, because this is what's going to happen, when the servers go off, people won't be able to download it, and then where do you think they're gonna go? They're gonna go to an aquatic sea mammal that is very friendly, sometimes too friendly. I'm talking about dolphin. Yes, I know dolphin is just for Switch games, but shush a minute, you get the idea. When people crack their Switches, when people crack their PlayStations, and Sony and Nintendo are like, why are people cracking our systems? Why are people like openly modding our systems and downloading things on an illegal free shop? Well, maybe you should have put it all on the disc, Bobby Kotick. Like God of War's on the disc. Nobody has to pirate God of War. They can just go to the store and buy it. But now people have to pirate Spyro. Well, not yet they don't, because the server's still on. The server's still running. But what I mean is when you finally shut it off, when the PlayStation 5 comes out, people are then going to have to pirate it. And then you're going to get pissy and say, why are people pirating this? Well, why do you think? Maybe because you sold a thing that on the box says 3 games and you only give them 1 game. You tit, Bobby Kotick. Stop being a tit. Is it that hard to not be a tit for 2 days? Like, I'm sorry, Activision, you fucked up 3 times this week. Can you not be a tit for 2 fucking days? Like, you had the thing that it's not on the disc. Then you had the thing that, because Blizzard is attached to you, you had Diablo Immortal. And now, you're fighting with the UK over loot boxes. There's Jim Sterling's video. Oh look, the UK is now officially researching loot box gambling because of Overwatch. Can you just stop, Activision? For 2 fucking days, can you just stop acting like a tit and realise that what you're doing's a bad thing? Okay, let's move on to the final verdict where I calm the fuck down because Bobby Kotick just can't fucking think like a rational person for 2 goddamn seconds. So, my final verdict for the Reignited Trilogy is a really good 4 out of 5. It's not perfect. It can't be perfect. It was Activision Blizzard and Bobby fucking Kotick of all people that had to do it. So of course they could not just make a game. They couldn't just make a game and put it on the disc. They had to be like, oh well, let's have some controversy because there's been a school shooting in America. We gotta censor the guns. Please don't censor the guns. Well, fuck you then. We're not gonna finish that level. You're just being very mean to me. And then there's the thing of putting it all on the disc. Oh well, we can't. We're too much as cheapskates to afford a second disc, so you gotta download it. Can you not? Can you not? No, fuck you. You're just gonna have to download it. And if our servers go down, well, that's too bad. You'll just have to deal with the fact that you've only got one game now. So yeah, there are some issues with the game. There are some controls that retro fans might take a little bit of getting used to, and there are a few designs like Ripto and the Sorceress and the goddamn Splatoon, man, that are bad. They're not the best. There are things that are not perfect, but overall, as a whole, as a package of 3 games, they are still to a very high standard, as high as you could possibly get it when having to fight Activision Blizzard at every fucking turn. The graphics look absolutely stunning. They are the best graphics in any game this year. There are games like, as I say, Celeste that have come close, or Bomb Chicken that have come close, or Red Dead Redemption come close, but no graphics are as good as this year. These are the best visuals that you will see this year. The music and the voice acting is done by the original Stuart Copeland and Tom Kenny, and they did a fantastic job. Everything that you expect to be there is there. Everything that you could have ever hoped and dreamed for, 90% of your hopes and dreams have come true. It is truly the definitive version of the Reignited or the Spyro trilogy. Like, after playing these, I couldn't play the original again. The 3 Reignited versions, again, aside from 1 or 2 designs and the fact that there's things like you have to download the other 2 games and, you know, a couple of other little niggly flight controls on the speedway, but aside from some very, very, very minor issues, this is the definitive way to play the original trilogy. Like, I could not go back to the original 3 after playing this. There's just too much. There's just too many positives to get yourself hung up on the negatives. It's like all the dragons have their own unique designs. It's got that over the PlayStation 1. Yeah, but in the original they had machine guns and not Splatoon guns. That's true, but again, as much as I hate that, it's a minor thing, and considering how many positives there are and how much it outweighs the negatives, it's definitely the definitive way of playing the original trilogy, and it is well worth your time. And I know it's only out on PlayStation and Xbox right now. Is it worth getting a PlayStation or an Xbox to play it? I'd like to say yes, but we know that the PlayStation 5's around the corner, so if you have only got a PC or a Switch, you might as well just wait for the timed exclusive thing to wear out and get it on those, because it is a timed exclusive, by the way. Many people have pointed this out about the shop. There is a 4th blanked out option, and that 4th blanked out option is a Switch. Like, people have done the digging on the website, done the data mining, and it is a Switch. While the big companies won't confirm it, it is Switch, and like Crash Bandicoot that is now on Steam, Spyro will also be coming to Steam. So I can't sit here and say, yes, definitely go buy a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox right now, it's worth your time, because I know that the PlayStation 5's coming, which means that the PlayStation 4 is about to have a huge price cut pretty soon, as well as the fact that it is a timed exclusive. And if you already have a Switch or a PC, you might as well just wait the few months. But when that few months expires and the timed exclusive is broken, it is more than worth your money to pick it up. So yeah, overall, really good, really nice. But of course, We now end from going from a really positive, really nice thing to the big shit show. Oh, country road, take me home, West Virginia. It's a buggy, broken mess that reuses assets and the same old engine. What were you thinking, Todd Howard in West Virginia? See you in the next one. It's so fun. Or Bassie. Oh, it's the Jester. It's Frostart's best one. Bye, Frost.
Metalhead is all charged up to meet you. Attacking the power pole should disrupt his power supply.
Oh, there he is. Oh, the factory looks a lot better. There he is. You know what it's time for. Damn. Okay, PC. This must be 60 FPS on 60 FPS. Either that or 4K HDR. It's in 4K because I'm playing it via the 4K monitor, so that's what you're seeing it being recorded as. But it is still on the console and it's still 30 frames. But give me a second because there's Metalhead. It's gonna take a second for it to load. Okay. What? It's a 5-minute song! What the fuck? Oh, there's a 2-minute version. Better version with no Diddy Kong. Diddy's singing sounds so awful, so I edited it out. Well, I can't argue with that, so we'll have the better version on. I'll see you fighting the Metalhead boss, are you?
I don't know what you mean, it's just a healthy shame. I must admit I feel a little strange, but I've never felt better and stronger than ever. Can't you see nothing's changed? I'm not light on my feet, now I clank and I squeak, but my voice is the same when I speak. My hand looks like aluminum foil. Does this mean that I need a tune-up and a change of oil? I'm a metalhead, a metalhead, a metalhead, a metalhead. I'm a metalhead, a metalhead, a metalhead.
And you can't time that shit any better than that. Get out of here, Jontron. It's not Jontron, it's Pro Jared. I just did. And look how perfectly timed from the start of the fight to the end of the fight. That is why I am the greatest dragon in gaming. Because not only can I fight Metalhead with the Metalhead song playing, but I can also edit to have it perfectly timed on the fly. Live on stream. That timing, what the fuck? Yo guys, I've got a question. You take a little... Yes. Right, let's continue. Metalhead, what the fuck? So answer agree. What are you saying now? Play the Pro Jared video. No. What the fuck, Spyro? You know this game too much. What are you talking about? I don't know this game. How do I know this game too much? Just because I know exactly how long the Metalhead fight will last and how I could time that song live on stream. I don't play this game too much.